This is the panel called Building the Future. It's on wellness, real estate, and communities. And I am going to invite my colleagues, my panelists, to come on up. And one of them will be joining us virtually. So we need somebody at that podium, and then these chairs, everything has been distanced 6 feet nose to nose, which is why we can't squish another chair on here. So we have Jeffrey Abramson, just wave as you're coming up, partner, the Tower Companies. Dilip Barot, founder, Amrit Ocean Resort and Residences. Alfredo Carvajal, executive vice president, Delos Living. Craig Collin, Chief Operating Officer, Tavistock Development Company. Judy Mackey, co-owner of STRATA Integrated Wellness and Spa at Garden of the Gods Resort and Club. Steve Nygren, founder of Serenbe. And Veronica Schreibeis-Smith, founder Vera Iconica Architecture, and with us via Zoom, Preeti Malhotra, CEO, Smart Barot. So thank you and welcome, Preeti. I hope you can hear us and see us. Wonderful to have you. Preeti is here.
Thank you, Nancy. Lovely to see you too. Yes, I can hear you and see you.
Nice to see you. And Preeti is here as Dr. Modi's proxy, because he is not only very, very involved, as we know now, in wellness, real estate, and development, he also generously sponsored this panel. So a shout out to our beloved Dr. Modi. Oh, great, you're over there at the podium. Thank you, Dilip. Thank you. What we're gonna do, because of the size of this panel and because we want you guys all involved asking questions, and we have Anna to bring the global questions, I'm gonna give each of you 2 minutes on the clock to tell us what you do, what you're here representing, a property, a company, in Veronica's case, a whole approach to designing those places, and what about it is very uniquely about wellness. And if you want to get on Susie's, in her really good graces, you'll share some numbers. We like numbers. I'm going to start right here at my left with Alfredo, and I'm going to put 2 minutes on the clock, and it's all yours, Alfredo.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay? My voice is a little bit gone by now, but my name is Alfredo Carvajal. I'm the Executive Vice President for Delos. We are a wellness real estate company. One of the things that we have done is to take the concept of what is the best for us, for our bodies, what is the best for our human nature, and to bring it inside the built environment. Basically, anything with 4 walls and a roof. We've done that in the commercial building side. And recently, in the past, I would say 2 to 3 years, we've been working hard. I'm trying to get into the residential side with a fantastic set of products, with a new technology where we married everything that we know about the science of staying healthy indoors and translate it into products that can be easily implemented in any sort of buildings, especially when it comes to residences. So you're gonna hear more from Delos this year, because we started with the very high-end products, like ultra-luxury residential, then communities too. We're doing a lot of communities worldwide. And the last thing is to go into the mass market, so it could be very affordable. So our goal is to make this product very democratized, so we can get millions of people to use it. So we're now looking at a solution that would be for homes from the $300,000 and up. And we think that that solution is also a very effective solution, because not only we came up with these ideas, but we have science to back it up. We have research. That's what Delos have invested a lot of money and time and effort on, working with Mayo Clinic and building the Well Living Lab, which is probably the best state-of-the-art facility of its kind. So welcome to come when you want to do that in Rochester, Minnesota. Thank you.
Alfredo, thank you, and thank you for being on time. Give us one number. Tell us one number. How many square feet you have developed in wellness communities, how much you spend on developing wellness communities. Give us a number.
Okay, well, right now, on the well certification side, which is for all sorts of buildings, we're already reaching numbers over 700 million square feet on the certification or to be certified. So this is now a global movement, the movement of human sustainability. That's what
okay. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, Preeti, I'm going to come to you. to hear what's going on in smart Barot.
Hi, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you fine. You have 2 minutes.
Right. So Nancy, thank you. And I represent, as she mentioned, the Dr. Modi group. You heard her. And you heard his vision of wanting everybody to live happy, healthy, and wealthy beyond 100, and therefore build 100 such wellness communities in India, which would take every aspect of wellness in it. And obviously, we have the first of these wellness cities coming in Delhi, in Saket, which is the heart of Delhi. It is one of the most premium, Saket is one of the most premium and elite part of Delhi. With a very economically well-off, affluent population base. In fact, it's ranked to be amongst the top 200 global hotspots for growth. And it's connected via rail, metro, golf course, sports complex, and we'll be connecting this whole city underground with the metro, with the mall, and we'll be having it'll be called Saket Wellness Community. And we'll be having a 2,000 hospital bed facility along with nearly 1,000 residencies and a medical office building, assisted living, rehab center, which will take care of every aspect of wellness, be it physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. So there'll be good food, air, water. It'll be totally solar enabled. It'll be digitized. And obviously, like I mentioned to you, it'll be completely focusing on preventive healthcare and right in the center of Delhi.
Preeti, I know that Dr. Modi has sold his businesses and is devoting everything he is doing to wellness. Are you at liberty to share what Dr. Modi's budget is for building 100 wellness cities in India?
So the first of the wellness community that is coming up in Saket it would take about nearly $1 billion. Because like I mentioned to you,
say that number again.
I'm
sorry, say that number again.
$1 billion
for
the first wellness community.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I'm just going to write all these numbers down, then add them up at the end. Sure. Preeti, thank you so much. Stay with us. Craig Collin.
Yes, my name is Craig Collin. I work for a company called Tavistock, and Tavistock is a private family office. A lot of investments around the world, but one of the large investments is into our development company. So most prevalent of that is our community called Lake Nona. So Lake Nona is southeast of the Orlando airport and covers about 17 square miles. So on a typical Wednesday like today at noon, there are about 50,000 people there. And of those 50,000 people, there are 20,000 residents, about 15,000 adults and adolescents studying, as well as about 15,000 people that are employed. What Tavistock does is we're involved in the commercial market, so we have commercial office space, we have residential and multifamilies, we have a residential home building operation, we have a technology company, we have food and beverage companies, we have hotels that we own and operate. So we're a little bit different than a normal developer because we're actively involved in the operations of many of these projects and assets. The two things that are, or the one thing I would say that's different maybe, or unique, and then I'll give you a number, right? So one thing that is different is in my time at Tavistock and at Lake Nona and well beyond that, Tavistock has done very well to partner. And when I say partner, including this gentleman and other people on this panel and many of you in the audience, and we've done very well to partner, to bring in specialists in health and wellness, because one of the basic principles of Lake Nona is founded on health and wellness with Medical City or the sports performance area. So we've done very well to partner with very, very smart people from around the world. And Lake Nona has, through the years, attracted these people to become involved, whether through a project or through the Lake Nona Impact Forum that happens annually. So I think that's one thing that we do very differently. One number to throw out at you, so we have a residential business. So Lake Nona is made up of 20,000 residents. This year, we'll sell more houses in Lake Nona than we've ever sold in the history of Lake Nona. And that's a product of, I think, many things, but one of them is the focus on health and wellness.
Yeah, the interest in this sector now is absolutely incredible based on everything. Let's switch to the chimes from the buzzer. We only use the buzzer
it's like
really
the gong
for students. So we'll switch to the chimes. And just one quick note, is it possible to IMAG the speakers, and then we'll keep, obviously, Preeti with us and then go back to her after, if that's possible. Thank you. Okay, next up, Jeffrey Abramson.
Hello, everyone. I'm a three-generation family real estate company in Washington, D.C. It's hard to breathe with this. Specializing in sustainable real estate. We were a company produced some of the most first LEED certifications in the country, and have been a great responsibility and a joy to have led a lot of the revolution in the commercial building industry. I wanted to read you a quote from Dr. Joseph Allen, who is the Director of Healthy Buildings program at Harvard University. Quote, "The person who manages your building has a bigger impact on your health than your doctor." I'll read it again.
Wow.
The person who manages your building has a bigger impact on your health than your doctor. This is amazingly powerful and motivating. And speaking of statistics, only 15 to 30% of the people have returned back to the buildings. Building owners need to step it up fast to make people feel safe and get us back together where we actually are the most creative. Later on, I can talk about some of the things that we're doing, but it's important to see that there's new trends. The commercial real estate now is seeing new priorities. It showed that sustainability, indoor air quality, and employee well-being were now their highest priorities. Pre-COVID, that was their lowest priorities. It's completely flipped. And this is very encouraging. I think the whole country and the world is moving in the right directions. And our cities are not dead. According to Gensler, a new survey, affordability, convenience, and safety remain top priorities. Half of those who took the survey still want to live in an urban environment. 50% of those that left the city are likely to return back. As Thierry Malaret said, well-being is the net winner in the post-pandemic era.
That is fabulous information, a great quote, and that water next to you is for you, Jeffrey. Have a sip. Sounds like you need a little water. Veronica Schreibeis-Smith, you have the unique position of being an architect on this panel. So tell us what it's like designing and building these communities.
Yes, so as Nancy said earlier, our specialty is really about our approach to architecture. And to kind of illustrate what that's like, ever since I was very young, I felt buildings more so than saw them. And if you start to think about, on a quantum level, how everything has a vibration, you can relate it to music. So just like a composer would take certain notes and put together a song, that song has the power to change our mood and impact us, maybe energize us or relax us. You can do the same thing with architecture. Every single material has a different vibrational frequency, and the designer can put together different material palettes to be in harmonic resonance with each other. And when you start looking at the environment from that standpoint, the volume makes a difference, the sights, the smells, the sounds, your emotional and spiritual reaction. So when we look at architecture, we really look at all dimensions of well-being, and we look at what kind of experience we're trying to design, because at the end of the day, we are experienced designers, and architecture happens to be our medium.
Veronica, thank you so much. And there are all kinds of connections. We're all about connections up here. Veronica built the Healthy Kitchen, reimagined a kitchen. It's built at Lake Nona. Delos has all kinds of technology at Lake Nona. There are a lot of connections and things going on here, which is very exciting. Thank you so much. Judy.
Hi, I'm Judy Mackey. I am the co-owner of Garden of the Gods Club and Resort. Our focus is really the power of place and the power of human connection. We have 3,500 members as part of our club. We have 116 rooms, which consist of lodges, casitas, and cottages. And we also, our property is placed in a residential community, gated community that has about 600 residents, growing to 750 to 800. And we also have 20 villas on our property that are really focused on healthy lifestyle. STRATA Med, we opened about 3 years ago with the focus of a really integrative approach to Eastern and Western medicine. We really say that our offering is a true complementary, holistic approach to general care. We have chiropractors, we have acupuncturists, we do IV nutritional therapy, all the way to traditional medicine. Our medical director is a cardiologist, internist. The main focus of our property is really to reach out to the community. So I'm really excited with a lot of the conversation that was here this weekend, is talking about how do we get engagement. So through STRATA Med, we feel like we are on the leading edge of working with third-party administrators. We're self-funded and really bringing a more alternative approach to medicine, to insurance. We feel that's how we attract employers, and that's how we get our community engagement, is really going through the insurance market. So we've been working with a leading TPA. We've been testing this for over a year with great success. We also have an employee wellness program that we reach out to the city. We manage the city account, which is about 5,000 employees. So we're trying different approaches to really take our product, get more engagement, using tools for success.
Judy, thank you so much. Appreciate it, and apologize for the timing, but this keeps a good pace, and with a group this size, it's a good way to do it. Steve, Nygren, Serenbe, where many people are headed in just a few hours, I believe. And yes, a real pioneer in this industry, I have to say, Steve. I was going to say the godfather of wellness real estate, but it just evokes too many other issues. So tell us about Serenbe.
I'll look right here. Well, 18 years ago, we led a preservation effort for balanced growth on 40,000 acres among 500 landowners. We own 1,200 of those acres. We're the first to break ground on these new regulations where 70% of the land has to be preserved for anything on agriculture, and all the density is moved to the 30%. Now, this land plan, and at Serenbe, we are laid out with omegas. So when you go out your front door, you're going to connect with your neighbors, and you go out the back door, you're going to be in nature. And so by the land plan, we are connecting you to nature and to one another. And now research is coming out showing those are the two greatest connections for both mental and physical health. Because of our restaurants, our inn, and our arts programming, we've been known as a lifestyle center. And so a lot of our press has been about lifestyle. We were also brought an organic farm right on the edge of our houses. We were some of the first to do that. In fact, the New York Reporter is the one who tagged us at Agrihood, which has kind of been a movement that's happened. And now we're in the midst of the health. And what we find is anything environmentally built is also good for your health. So while we've been known as environmental because we've cut our energy by 60% on the average houses because of geothermal and the way we build, many are starting to add solar. Our water usage is 60% of the natural average on our portable water. And these are also things that now are affecting our health. I wished we had better measurements for health. We have about 140 kids. Not one has asthma, which statistically is impossible today. And almost every household has a health story that comes out. So the future is how do we measure health in the communities as we build them? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Steve. I would say to the people who are heading to Serenbe, get ready to move to Serenbe. What usually happens is people visit Serenbe, then they go home, they pack up, and then they move.
We now have 7 people living at Serenbe that are Global Wellness Summit attendees.
We're like a feeder thing to your, yeah. Do we get a commission or something?
Well,
Steve,
it's how you walk the talk.
There was some extraordinary number about, during the pandemic, the number of houses that you were selling while everybody else's business was contracting. Can you just give us that number?
Well, we have, again, we've sold more than we've ever sold before, and we're out of houses. We're just building them as fast as we can. We're selling raw dirt with plans.
Fantastic. Wellness dirt, that could be a new, pitch those guys in the morning. Okay, Dilip, tell us.
Yes, ma'am, the numbers. Amrit Wellness Community is built on 7.5-acre oceanfront prime land, 1,064,000 square feet. It had about 26 design firms for various things. I cannot name it because not enough time, and had many experts of all different kinds to bring the wellness community we want to create. It had $500 million of holistic capital, no Wall Street capital, because they don't know how to underwrite wellness community. And you will be wasting and chasing the money and never get the job done. It has 3 businesses in mixed-use community as a real estate. Wellness resort, and wellness and spa amenity. Each works very independently on its own, sustainable on its own financially, but they are built exclusively while creating the great synergy. In 2 towers, we have put 18 elevators. That alone will tell you how much exclusivity we have maintained. I can share more number about each business, but that's separate. The valuation is about $1 billion, so it's a good return on the money. So wellness does not have to be not for profit, it can be for profit. Based upon our current plan, the Amrit Wellness Company will become about $5 billion by 2025, maybe more. We already have a project identified worth $10 billion. Amrit wellness communities are needed everywhere, wherever there is a stress, anxiety, frustration, higher expectation, because we have created this whole lifestyle, including filing the patent for personalized wellness support system, which will really truly deliver the results to the people in each of the 5 pillars, which is nutrition, fitness, sleep, relaxation, and mindfulness.
Thank you so much, Dilip. Really. It's really quite incredible what everyone is doing, and I'm very mindful that except for Preeti, this panel is US. And so obviously this industry in the United States, for sure, represented here, is on fire. It's just unbelievable. But we know that that's also happening because we know it's happening in India. We know it's happening in other parts of the world. If we go to Anna Bierström now, I wonder, Anna, if there are a couple of questions or comments about this. You're very familiar with this concept, but if there are any questions, come up in the webinar.
Yes, many of them, and let me take one. I have a couple, but I thought this one from Laura Powell was very interesting. I would be curious about the demographics of those living in the wellness communities cited today. I would imagine it's mainly white, educated, and upper middle class, but it seems to me that a true wellness community has to embrace diversity. How can developers create diverse communities going forward?
I'm going to ask Steve and Craig to handle this because they've got people living in their communities, and Judy.
It's a far greater diversity than you would expect. You touched on financial. We have a lot of rental property, so we have people working at the inn and the restaurants that can also live there, teachers. So there is diversity. I think there is a tremendous opportunity for affordable housing. You'll see a model at Serenbe, 500 square foot houses built with the rural studio, looking at architectural integrity is important, no matter what the price range. We have age diversity from, I think, 3 weeks old to 92 years old, racial diversity, sexual orientation diversity. And so wellness is something that is very common among all the areas. People are always asking, what's the common thing? I think more educated, definitely. Most of our people are educated because they're gravitating to something like this.
I'm going to interrupt you, Steve, just to get to, I'm going to try to get to as many people answering things as possible. I apologize for the kind of cadence of this, but just want to hear as many voices. Just take a minute and tell us,
Sure.
Craig.
At Lake Nona, so just a couple of numbers. The average age, because I know them like the back of my hand, the average age is about 34 to 35. 90% of the residents have an undergraduate degree, and 50% of them have a graduate degree. So there is a point of people starting to gravitate to it. I will say this, how though you attract or how you diversify your population is the steps that I think we've taken recently. And a lot of them are, this is about wellness, but I think there's a conversation about affordability in America too. And I think one of the approaches we've taken is affordability of housing, whether it's for-sale housing or for-rent housing or single-family rentals, because that, I think, is another issue in the United States that we're trying to address. And I think the winners will be the people when we integrate the idea of affordability and wellness together, right? So I think that's a little bit of where we are today. So.
Affordability and wellness, that sounds like a very good thing. Judy?
I would say in our area, they are very well educated, and so they have better access to health care. But we are seeing a growth, 55% growth in what we call the young professionals in our membership, which is 20 to 39. They're really appreciating the gated community, the access to wellness. We do have pediatric care at our wellness center, so we're really focused on families. And I think with the pandemic, the safety is really important to them.
Judy, thank you so much. Let's take a question from the audience here. Okay, I think we'll take the question from Susie Ellis. What do you think? Right up front.
Thank you. One concept that's not on the panel, but it's very important, and I know that Alfredo can address it, is Rancho La Puerta and the residences. So I wanted, if you can maybe share some numbers of what's happening there.
Thank you, Susie. One thing that was an eye-opener, that we launched in the middle of the pandemic in July, and today we have sold around 50 units. So if you think the pace of sales in just a few months is pretty incredible. Obviously, Rancho La Puerta carries a lot of weight on the story and everything that they do there. But one of the things that people want is to have a place where they can retreat and then retire. Actually, they want to first find a place where they can go for long periods of time, do one thing that I heard you talking many times was this wellness sabbaticals, that you can take periods of time that you can work remotely from a place that's gonna contribute to your health. And after that, when you're ready to retire, you will move on to that and live in that community. So we've seen a lot of people buying with that interest, which is surprisingly a high level of interest. Around 1,000 people still waiting to make a decision right now about buying. So we think in a year we're going to have that property completely sold out.
So how many are being built and how many are sold or accounted for?
57 sold, 109 is the number of units. Yeah.
Amazing. At this time?
At this time,
At this
during the
time.
pandemic, yeah.
Let's go back to Anna.
So I have a question for Victoria. We've had some amazing brainstorms and the breakout the last couple of days, and today we talked, and yesterday we talked about the future home. And a lot that came up is there's going to be homes where you just simply feel well. The energy is good. It was interesting. And talking about what you spoke about, we used to, and our ancestors used to build home according to geopathic stress, according to sacred geometry. Is that anything that you see that we're coming back to?
I'd like Veronica to take that one.
Yeah, that was for Veronica.
Yes, absolutely. More and more people realize that it's very important to focus on the environment in green architecture, but it's equally important to be cognizant of these other modalities that are ancient knowledges or wisdoms, if you will. So biogeometry, which is what you were talking about before, these meridians that run through the surface of the earth that can be geoprosperous or geopathic, sacred geometry, including feng shui or vastu principles into the architecture, looking at environmental psychology, color theory, the latest technology and science, not just to have the latest bells and whistles, but something that is going to actually have a meaningful impact on your life. And a lot of the other design wellness principles that are coming forth is nudge architecture, which is essentially the ability to design nudges into the environment so that it makes it a little bit more easy or joyful for somebody to adopt behavior that's going to enhance their well-being.
Fantastic. Thank you, Veronica. Do we have a question in the audience here? If not, we'll go right back to Anna because she's always got a bunch of questions. Okay, Anna, back to you.
So from James Rena, who I believe he said yesterday just graduated from Well Education, Alfredo, he's asking, what are the top 3 priorities and focus for Delos right now?
First of all, is to take the product to the market, a larger market. We want to democratize this product so you can find it in the office, you can find it in your home, and it could be affordable. Wellness is not good if it's not for everybody. And that's something we've been putting a lot of time and effort. Second is to keep collaborating and taking the research behind it, especially with institutions like the Mayo Clinic. They've been a fantastic partner for Delos at the Well Living Lab in Rochester, Minnesota. You will see what's happening right now. Some of the largest corporations in the world are joining the Well Living Lab because they want to learn how to get into the world of wellness and not just talk about it. They want it to be real. So you're going to see a lot coming on that side. And the third priority that we have as a company is to also launch a new array of products, one that we are working on the mental health side. That is also another very important aspect of everything you build. So we are very excited about these 3 priorities for next year.
Thank you, Alfredo. We have time for one more question. Is there one here? Yes, there's a question right there. And please just ask the question. We got 1 minute left. Thank you.
Dilip, can you speak a little bit to how employee wellness affects wellness communities at large?
Sure. One of the key things, Nancy, for us is to deliver this wellness community is really creating the wellness for our employee or our team. And for that, at Amrit, we have really set up the affordable housing, 161 unit, which we already acquired, and nearby, where we will be really converting that whole into the wellness community for affordable, along with all the basic needs for our employee, which is the daycare or the transportation, the yoga, and all that thing. So, and the food and, things like that. So we really believe that only way we can deliver a wellness community if we really care and, in a real sense, genuine way for our employee.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dilip. That actually is the end of this panel, and I think they deserve an incredible round of applause. Clearly we cannot get to a fraction of the conversation or questions. It's meant to whet your appetite, talk to these people, and learn more about what's going on. So thank you all very, very much.